All right, I think we're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Marcy Purcell, and I am the Graduate Field Assistant for the Systems Engineering Program. Graduates, students, it's so wonderful to see all of you here, along with your family and friends who I'm sure have been an immense amount of support for you during the duration of your program. It's wonderful to see all of you. I cannot emphasize that enough. I do just want to take just a quick moment just to thank all of you for your support and your guidance throughout this entire program. All of you have done a tremendous amount of work. Obviously, this past year with COVID, sometimes even a year and a half, has been a little bit of a challenge for everyone, but you persevered, you powered through this, and I can certainly speak on behalf of myself and the rest of faculty and the staff here, which whom a lot of them are on this webinar today, to go ahead and congratulate you on your immense success. Thank you all so much for sticking through with us. We cannot thank you enough for joining our program, being successful in our program, and more importantly, helping us carry on this program and moving forward. I am going to go ahead and transfer it over to David Schneider, who is the director of our program. We all do have some other faculty that will be joining us as well. All of the students also know Sherry Minarski is also on this today with us, so she'll be celebrating with us later on as well. But for right now, again, congratulations to all of you. I'm going to go ahead and transfer this over to David, and he is going to go ahead and take this away.
Hello, everyone, and congratulations to all of our graduates. It is just awesome to see you all again. Congratulations, everyone here. And for those who don't know me, my name is David Schneider. I'm the Director of MN Studies for Systems Engineering. And particularly for all of our audience members, just so you know, I'm also the professor of the course that all of many of our students had to start with their overall program. So it feels all the more exciting for me to be one who actually gets to kind of usher you through this congratulatory ceremony here. But yes, again, I am so excited for you guys. You did it. You made it. And best of all, I can say, take out a sheet of paper, put your name and net ID, and you don't have to do a darn thing. You don't have to listen to it at all. So yes, I know, freedom. Wow. Yes, I mean, I know. I remember when I first graduated from college, I was so relieved. I was done. I was out, and there was no way I was ever going to go to graduate school. Not a chance. Obviously, things went a little bit differently. And actually, if anyone told me at any point in my life, basically since high school, this is how the next 5 years of your life was going to be, I never would have believed them. And so as much as we are here to celebrate what you have achieved already, you know, and let's face it, the Cornell Systems Engineering program is not an easy program. So you have a lot to be proud of. But I'd like to maybe perhaps share a hint as well as to what your life might be after this. What are you be doing next? Now, some of you might be thinking already, do next. Come on, Dave. It's all smooth sailing at this point. I've got my degree. I've got my career. I've got it made. This is my big break here. But even someone who's been in showbiz for a while, I want to kind of reveal to you all an important truth. And that is, in life, there are no big breaks, just milestones. Major achievements, meaningful failures, marking points along our life that really help to shape us as we continue to grow. And so, although we're celebrating the conclusion of a major milestone right here, what I really want you to know is that your adventure is just beginning. And I've got, in Dave fashion, I've got a brief 219 slide presentation for y'all to go through on it right now. And DL students, you cannot fast forward it at 1.5 speed this time when I go through it. Not just kidding with you, but yes, I know you guys fast forward me. Yes. But seriously, in all seriousness, here, you guys are at a major point in your lives, and that you are going to discover fairly soon, if you haven't not already, that you have developed certain innate abilities throughout your time here at Cornell, whether it be to explore new solutions and lead new efforts, but make a more direct difference than perhaps a lot of your colleagues are. And one of the things you may begin to notice is that the way that you think about problems is going to be a lot different than perhaps your peers, not just in your work, but perhaps in all aspects of life. Let's think about it. We've been spending all this time thinking about how do we analyze problems, listen for different kinds of performance criteria, and how to translate stakeholders' needs, really understand how people evaluate different situations, and hence what might even be the underlying motivations behind various statements or actions people make. I mean, let's face it, from the very beginning, we said when somebody asks for a car, They're not actually asking for that car, right? They're asking for a solution to their transportation need. So now you know how to explain to them the value of that airplane, even if they've never heard of that airplane before. So that same approach that we take to being able to figure out different people's needs and understand where they might be coming from will help us in every part of life, even in our interactions with our friends. Let's just say, if someone says they want to spend the night and watch a movie. Is it really that they want to watch a movie, or do they really just have the need to decompress? Right? There's a part of our brain that has been unlocked that you can now tap into to really help you to seek to find the reasons behind why people are having various different kinds of reactions, emotions, and needs, expressing themselves in different ways. At the same time, giving us the ability to question our own findings, seek and accept new information, and then reevaluate it. This really helps us to, again, in all parts of our life, because let's face it, in today's society, where unfortunately misinformation is spread as a wildfire, we can use our skills and abilities to help to reach out to people, to help. And let's face it, people are the most critical part of any system. And so we have learned different kinds of tools, techniques to help us to be able to speak their language, to talk to them, to recognize their different perspectives and demonstrate how what we have to offer, our ideas, can actually add value. And we learn to speak it in the way that they will recognize it. Because one of the most important things that I've learned in dealing with people is to make sure that you talk to them from the perspective that they identify themselves. And not just along the ways that we normally think about the diversity, but perhaps somebody sees themselves as a leader or a technical expert, or just somebody who's funny or, is a good cook. Listen to the ways that they define themselves. And that will help you to communicate that person. So we are going to be pioneering all different kinds of projects throughout our careers. And when that requires partnering with others, helping other people to champion ideas, help to develop their own new ideas, and helping everybody to recognize the fundamental needs for why we are working together in order to make that difference. But remember how I talked about milestones right at the beginning. Each and every project that you go through will just be another new milestone for you to learn and grow. And yes, I did say the word learn. And I know there's a part of you that says, no, I'm done with that. I've gotten through school. I don't want any more part of that. And yeah, I felt it too. But to be honest, a graduate degree isn't so much an indication that you have mastered a subject and now and forever are an expert in it. It is proof that you can continue to learn and improve yourself to do what is needed. But here's the real kicker. The more innovative that we are, the more resistance we'll often find. It's not that people want to stymie innovation, but they may not understand the real reasons are there all the various different system aspects that we can naturally start to develop weights and trade off between those different aspects of, thanks to what we have developed as system engineers. And so remember, the resistance that we find is sometimes not necessarily, again, due to direct opposition, but that we haven't necessarily done a good enough job ourselves in explaining the value, or perhaps we actually don't have all the information we need as well. But we as system engineers are often at the front lines to handle all the pushback, but we need to be able to listen to that, iterate, and really appreciate that feedback in order to make those kinds of changes. And as we go through this, we will most certainly have to continue to deal with rejection. And that's a very important part of the job. And as much as your system engineering degree has trained you for this, turns out dating is actually a wonderful training tool in this too, right? We've all had to deal with rejection in that way as well. And I'll tell you, the first time that you had your heart crushed, right, in a relationship, man, it felt terrible. It felt really, really bad. You're completely demoralized. But the second time, perhaps, that you have to go through a situation like that, well, it felt just as bad. It felt terrible again. It was horrible, but you knew how to deal with it better. And so that's what I want you to help recognize, is how the various tools that you have been learning and things you learn throughout this course will help you to handle all the challenges you come up with even better. Because even with all this being prepared, there are still going to be those points where you're going to feel like too many things have not gone your way, potentially things that you had no control over. And you're going to question yourself, is it really worth it? Why am I pushing myself so hard to make this change happen, or investing so much of myself into this project? Now, I know that we have challenged you throughout this program, and some of you may have very well felt like that throughout the program as well. But you made it through that, and you were able to overcome those things where you're saying, should I just take the easy win and even just say, heck with it, and just watch TV tonight? Yeah, we all need that mental break, but you guys have already shown that you know what it takes not to give up, and that we can't give up. Because one of the most fundamental things that I want you guys to really take out of this is that no matter what other things are pushing on us throughout our personal lives, our careers, the world as a whole, there's really only one thing that we have control over, and that is our actions. We can only control our own individual actions. And so we must always look to see, what is that I can do? What is it that I can make happen at this moment? And when I look back at my life, the only parts that I find regret are those times where basically it boils down to where I simply wasn't brave enough. I wasn't willing to do that hard thing. Not even so much of a conscious choice, but it's something that just seemed too insurmountable at the time. With like, I can't go there. I can't deal with that. Yes, we have to pick our battles, but remember, when you're faced with that kind of situation, you have been equipped with so many different tools and approaches that can help you to determine that best course of action. What action will you take as a part of this? And if needed, you can use that equipment, rely upon your training, your colleagues to help you to fight and be brave. I've learned throughout my career that even these toughest situations, to still have heart, because I have found that good ideas never die. They just come back stronger. So you can always try again. You'll fail again, but you will learn, and you will learn to make that difference. You will make it happen. And we hand out a degree to you, not just as an award, but it's something to really to help you to recognize that, yes, you have what it takes to invest in yourself and make that difference, to really make it happen. So you will make that difference. And as you may recall, I ended my last class saying that I honestly believe that each and every one of you will surpass my own skills in some way. And I can't wait to see what you will make happen. Your next adventure is about to begin in about 30 minutes. Make it count. Thank you all very much. And with that, I'd like to hand it off to my colleagues to recognize all of our graduates here in today's ceremony. Congratulations on all being part of the Cornell Systems Engineering family. I would just like to add, as these candidates are revealed, please feel free to hoot and holler as much as you'd like for everyone as they show up there. Unmute your mics, go for it. You've earned it.
And now, presenting the Systems Engineering Master of Engineering graduates, Daruth Acharya, Majed Alarbi, Michael Artiga, Catherine Bagnell, Eric Berg.
Yay, Eric!
Archana Chandrasekharan.
Congratulations.
Kadeem
Way to
Goins.
go, my man Kadeem from Princeton to Cornell. I need these kids. Let's go, boy.
Melody Cross.
Yeah, Melody. Woo!
Gabriel Cruz. Carlos Espinoza. Cami Etherington. Shivendu Gami.
Great job, Cami.
Congratulations, Shu.
Ananya Gangadhar. Claire Gauthier. Gordon Gorlick.
Yay, Jordan.
Terry Green. Brian Groner. Christina Hill. Imran Khan. Clint Dine. Kurt Kuhn.
Thank you.
Richard Mahuz.
Congrats, Richard.
C. Sashana Marcus. Joshua Matthews. Anthony Mondon.
Tony Mondoni.
Will Murphy. Arul Mutuku Marasami. Kelly Brooks Neville.
Congrats, Kelly.
Andrew Nguyen. Shinhai Ni.
Congratulations.
Nicholas Noel.
Congrats, Nick.
Vince Pan. Mitul Panchal. Rushida Patel.
Well, congratulations, Rashida. I told you you could do it.
Haley Pohl.
Congrats, Haley.
Yay, congratulations, Sarah.
Sarabit Raju.
Congrats, Sarah.
Congratulations.
Robert Ramey. Gina Rena.
Go, Gina.
Pedro Rojas.
Congratulations, Peter. Go, Peter. Hey, Peter.
Greg Rumsey.
Congrats, Greg.
Daniela Seacats.
Congrats, Daniela.
Ethan Cipher.
Congratulations. Congrats, Ethan.
Stefan Shelton.
Congrats, Stefan.
Hey, congratulations, Stefan.
Go, Stefan.
Christos Skylodimos.
Go, Christos.
Yeah, way to go, Christos.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Dad. Thank you.
Michaela Stiklikas.
Way to go, Good job, Michaela. Proud of you. Love you. Love you.
John Stillman.
Congratulations, Philly. On 2020.
Jean Charles Turbin.
Good job, Jim.
Congrats.
Proud of you. Woo!
Emily Wang.
Congratulations.
Paul Wilkowski. Jessica Wynn. Gillian Yin. And Kevin Yoon. Congratulations to all of our graduates.
Yay! Congratulations!
Again, congratulations to all of you. With that, I'm going to hand it off to Al George, who is our Director of Graduate Studies, for our closing comments.
Hi, I add my congratulations to all of you as well. I'm Al George. I haven't met most of you except a few of you in this when we had the summer session. I have been with systems engineering from the very beginning, and when we started about 22 years ago, I've been working in and thinking about systems engineering for over 40 years, well before INCOSE even existed, the society that many of you have your certification from now. And at that time, systems engineering was primarily, in fact, almost exclusively applied to space systems and military systems. I want to take a few minutes to talk from a 3,000-foot view about three different things, three different areas that you can apply systems engineering to. You have all these great tools, and for example, you can apply them in your career, and you can apply them in relationships you have in the non-professional parts of your life, and having an effect on the world in general outside of your career particularly. And of course, you can apply them to your personal relationships and your family. And so first of all, as far as applying them to your career, this is the simplest to talk about. You've been taking classes that aim in that direction, and I think you all have been very well prepared. Here you are graduating. Congratulations. The second area is the one I mostly want to talk about, applying systems engineering ideas into the non-professional parts of your life and to the world in general. Now, this is a very serious situation. It's increasingly obvious that the world is changing too fast now to rely on evolutionary development of safe and sustainable systems for all of us to live here on the planet. In the past, civilizations developed in an evolutionary way. They tried different things, they didn't work out, they tried something else. But many of them, in fact, might even say probably most of them, maybe even almost all of them, destroyed their local environment in one way or another, or some aspects of the environment, sometimes people aspects, and went into decline. But always elsewhere on the planet, it seemed there was some other land and some other societies that were doing okay and flourished. And sometimes we learned from them, from the ancients, even though they had disappeared basically, we still learn things from them. But it's changing a bit now, maybe more than a bit, I should say. We no longer have other lands we can move to on our planet. There's no planet B anymore. You may have heard that expression before. We're in planet A. What's plan B when we mess this one up? Well, there isn't any around. People think we might be able to move to Mars or something like that, but I think we know enough about those planets to know it's never going to be anything like Earth. We may be able to colonize it in some minor way, but it's going to be basically, if we can't support it from Earth, but that's not going to happen. And so starting with nuclear bombs, and now with global warming and the general degradation of their environment, the world is threatened now as a place for humans and other living creatures to live in. And in particular, from your point of view, you should be thinking about yourselves. I'm old enough that I'm not too much worried about it, but I have children and grandchildren. And some of you have children already and will have grandchildren. And you should be thinking about them as well, because we're going to live in an increasingly stressed and dangerous world unless we can make some serious changes. So I hope you'll be applying systems engineering ideas outside of your career to try to help us all in the world move forward. Now, this is not simple. That's why I want to say what I'm going to talk about. It's not so simple. Much more than in a professional engineering situation, you have to be careful to realize that, first of all, you have to explain your language, all this language you learned from us, and because we know it fits in with certain tools and things like that, and we have shorthand ways of explaining this. People generally in the world are not going to understand what you're talking about, even if you say the word optimization, which is a fairly common word, and multi-attribute decision making, all these things that you know a lot about now. You have to talk to them in those terms, their terms, not your terms. And of course, you know from the course you took in essentially project management that you have to be able to have influence when you don't have authority. And all of you in a company, in a career situation will run into this, where you have a good idea, but you're not the one in charge, but can you do something to help other people understand it? Can you have an influence on them, even though they're the ones who decide, not you? Well, this is the way it really is in the larger world. We all just have small influences, even if we're in some voluntary organization, say, trying to do something in the community. Few of you will be the leaders of every organization you're in. You will be in some of the ones, ranging from PTA to maybe some action group on some social problems, etc. But you're involved in a socio-technical system, and a socio-technical system means we're mostly used in civil engineering historically to dealing with pretty much technical systems where there are very few stakeholders. You can interview them and you can talk to them, and they get a pretty good idea what they want. And you pretty much had what was needed for the thing you're doing. And most of in your career, you'll probably be doing work on things like that, many of you. But in this case, you have to understand, looking at the larger problems of the world, you have to understand the range of stakeholder goals. There are many different stakeholder goals that different people have. And you have to understand how they believe that they will fit into this perceived future that they think is coming. You can't tell them that you should be thinking this way about where the world's going and your role in it and what you should do. So basically what I'm saying is something that's extremely important in all of systems engineering. You may understand and be very skilled in systems engineering, but you have to tailor it to the situation. At work, especially if you're working with other systems engineers, you say a few words, people know exactly what you're talking about. It's quite different in the real world, and you have to tailor what your influence, trying to get your influence to affect people very differently. Tailoring involves adjusting how you approach things, how you try to explain things, and also communication, how you communicate them, these things. So that's the main thing I really wanted to say. I want to say a few words about how about applying systems engineering to your personal life. Well, I think it is certainly very appropriate. I certainly apply it to my personal life, and I mean by personal, I mean just myself, regularly thinking about things like continuous improvement, et cetera, and what my goals are, et cetera. I'm not saying I'm really great at it, but I keep working on it. Okay, but how about with family and friends? It's even less simple to do with them, even more than all the other systems approaches you might have in tailoring. You need to do even more tailoring with family and friends, who you have to realize they have their own styles, they have their own ways of enjoying life, and they're going to optimize purely for themselves. Now, hopefully, most of the people you'll be associating with will also be interested in things like you are interested in. Usually you don't become friends with them unless they are, and family, hopefully it's the same, of course. And they've developed their own styles and beliefs about their personal lives, and you really can't tell them how to optimize what they think and what they rather do. And I think maybe the best way to summarize this is to talk about this quote you often hear people saying, "Mother, I'd rather do it myself." And so I think you have to be very cautious and be very careful with your tailoring of your systems engineering ideas with close friends and associates, as opposed to people who you work with who value you and in fact are paying you to a certain extent, or the organization is paying you to bring those ideas because they know they're useful. So those are my thoughts after many years of looking at systems engineering as it developed and has widened out from military out and space out to covering socio-technical systems, where things are extremely important to make sure that we, as a world, as humans on this world, keep our planet inhabitable. So anyhow, finally, on behalf of the staff and faculty, we wish you a satisfying, rewarding career, which we're sure you're going to have. And also, as I said, we hope you will use your systems knowledge to work for a better and sustainable world, for a better life for all people, and perhaps maybe beyond our home planet, maybe we will be finding other planets and a way to get there in spite of the speed of light, etc. Maybe somebody will invent warp drive, but it'll be a while before we'll be colonizing it. So any place else. So thank you and congratulations on your MN degrees.
Thank you, Al. And with that, I also want to, of course, get on behalf of all of us here, our staff, Sherry, Marcy, Jake, Henry, and the faculty who are able to join us here today as well. Al George, Sierra Simicini, Antonio Pugliese, of course, myself. We thank you all very much for being a part of this ceremony. And again, we want you all to recognize that you are always a part of our Cornell family. Always consider us a resource for you. Consider each other as a part of that family too. So again, we hope all the best for you and congratulations, class of 2021. Couldn't be more proud.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you all very much.